Jan-Kryzsztof Duda found the craziest way to finish a game of chess. This is in the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour finals. It's at the end of a whole series of chess events where the top 8 players from all those events get to play each other. This is round 3, and you have the Polish Grandmaster Jan-Kryzsztof Duda trying to keep pace with Magnus Carlsen because at this point they were tied for first. And let me tell you, Duda was playing some crazy stuff. Let's get right into it, but again, this is against Anish Giri in round 3. D4, knight f6, c4, and they basically quickly transpose to a queen's gambit declined. Typically, queen's gambit declined, play with d5 first, but they're already trying to play some mind games against each other, right? Duda goes ahead and releases the tension in the center of the board, takes on d5, and now is like, I'm going to pin your knight to your queen. Anish is like, okay, if you take, I'll have the bishop pair, and I will replace it with a new knight. Duda just plays rook c1, trying to put the rook on a good semi-open file, and Anish is like, okay, what do you want to do, Duda? Are you going to give me the bishop pair, or are you going to get out of my house? And Duda is like, okay, I will put it down, and I will slide back. But Anish is like, no, actually, I'm coming after you. And here's the thing. G5 always makes for some spicy complications, because if you look at these two kingside pawns, I mean, are you really going to castle behind that? Basically, these two pawns are going to be either a long-term weakness, or they could be part of a big attack on the king side of white. We'll see. It could be both. You never know. But Duda obviously goes back to bishop g3, getting out of the way of all that, and let's see how the rest of the game goes. We have 2 pieces hitting the knight, queen b3, and after takes, you have this knight that can still try and take the bishop. But after these next few moves, you'll just see something crazy, because after h5, there's a clear idea to play h4 and then f6. So of course, Duda does something about that, right? Like typically you play h3. Wrong. He just goes c4. Bishop, sorry, but you're just going to have to live with this right here. Okay. This isn't you or me playing a bullet game where we have less than a minute to decide what we're doing here, right? This is Jan-Kryzsztof Duda. Literally like the 2020 World Cup winner. That's how he qualified for the last candidates tournament. This guy cooked up a plan where he said, I will let my bishop die because c takes d5 and then f takes e5. Okay, how about this check? What do you do, Anish? Because if you play c6, pawn takes. You're threatening a discovery. I mean, literally just for giggles. This would just win a queen. So you can't just do nothing, but you would have to move out of the way. And it's like, okay, if you take, then you're getting forked. So why would you allow yourself to get forked? Instead of all that, Anish is like, okay, I see it. I get it, Duda. I'll get out of the way. King f8. But where's that king going? This knight's galloping in, taking a pawn. So now Duda has 2 pawns for the piece. And this king is just out in the open. He's still running, but like, the pawns have already left the castle. Like, there's no structure in place to help shield the king. And the king is just walking out in the open on the king side. So the bishop comes back, knight goes back, and white's now like, hey, I've castled. I don't know what you're doing, but we'll see if these 2 pawns can create some issues. Anish is starting to push them, and Duda's like, I'm just going to run by all the guards and just leave the castle with f4. The rook comes to try and help stop the pawn, but now e4. And then g3. Anish continues to go all in, and Duda continues to just ignore him, which is crazy, right? But after queen g5, there's a lot of pressure coming, right? This is what I was saying. Like, these pawns, okay, maybe it's not contributing to the safety of the black king, but at least it's creating some sort of counterattack on white. But Duda's like, you did just bring your queen out, and you just left the pawn just completely hanging. So good luck now. King g8 and bishop b1. What is bishop e1? I mean, seriously. I think that Duda was just trying ultra hard to make sure that this bishop would be preserved, because it is a very important piece later on. So keep that in mind. Queen d2. Queen infiltrates. And you might be wondering, whoa. Like, these pawns made it to this far for a reason, right? Like, why not just g takes h2, check, and, at least bring some more pressure? But there's this thing in chess that some people call an umbrella pawn. The king can go over to h1 and grab the umbrella and just be like, okay, like I am shielded from all the rain. By the way, I'm not opening this because it's bad luck to open an umbrella indoors. So this pawn is basically an umbrella, keeps the king safe. It's a lot harder to attack it because how do you actually break through? And actually, Duda could have even just taken, because after queen g3, Anish could argue that, hey, I just completely dissipated the attack. There's no queens on the board. I should be better than I was before g takes h2. But the issue is, yes, if you look at the position, black is up a piece versus 4 pawns. That's kind of the exchange of material. But look at these 4 pawns. There are 4 connected passed pawns. And you're really going to bet that this rook is not going to be an issue? This rook is basically making all of black's pieces super inactive. And these 4 pawns are going to just march down the board. And it should be a conversion that a 2700 level grandmaster should be able to do pretty easily. So all of that is why Anish tried for queen d2 instead. And after queen f3, Anish is like, okay, it's time. It's time. We're getting a little desperate. There's a lot of pressure. I gotta try to take and sacrifice a piece back. But this time, I take 2 pawns for the piece, and it's with check. And if you look at it, sure, there's not 4 pawns in the middle of the board, connected past pawns that are going to be an issue in an endgame. But the problem for Anish is that he is never going to make it to an endgame after he tries to trade material off. Because, you know, like when you're under attack, it's good to just continually trade material off and like dissipate all the pressure. When your opponent runs out of pieces that are attacking, then hopefully it'll be a safer endgame to play. But, like I said, Anish never makes it to the endgame. Duda uncorks the most insane checkmate in 11 moves. And this is a forced checkmate. So technically, if you can calculate this, pause to solve. But good luck. If you can calculate this, then I'd never want to play you in chess ever. The forced checkmate in 11 moves that Jan-Kryzsztof Duda found starts with rook g7 check, king takes, f6 check. This knight helping control a lot of the scores as well, right? Now king h6, and okay, give a check here. King moves up, and here's where it gets crazy. So I just made a few moves, and we can see the board. But technically, when Duda played rook g7 check, there's a chance that he already saw the idea queen f5 check. A full-blown queen sacrifice. So knight takes. Uh-oh. Remember that bishop I told you to remember? It is helping with this check. Rook f5. King moves out of the way. And then, oh my gosh. Discovered check. And at this point, Anish resigned because he realized there's nothing else to do. I mean, literally the computer says, rook c2, you take, here, you take. And after all this, king f7. And now you should be able to finish it off yourself. Pause to solve one more time. Mate in 3. Rook e7 check. You move to the back rank. Knight h6. You move to the only square available. And again, that bishop coming in absolutely clutch to help deliver checkmate in this insane checkmate in 11 moves. If you enjoyed this video, then please go hit the like and subscribe button down below. It really helps me out, and I have a challenge for you. Currently, only 2% of the people that watch me are actually subscribed to my channel. Let's get that percentage as close as possible to the average accuracy of your chess games. What is that accuracy? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below, and happy learning, everyone.